Hey everybody, welcome back to Logged Into Life, and in this episode we're going to have a bit more of a detailed look at the dock. So in a previous video I did, which was an overview of the macOS desktop, we had a bit of a look at the dock, but just sort of a brush over. So this time we're going to go into a bit more detail, have a bit of a play around with it, see what it does, and hopefully you'll get some good value out of it. So let's get on with it. Alrighty, so here we go. Now, in the last video that I mentioned the dock, I actually had it up on the left hand side of my screen and it kept appearing and disappearing. So to make this one a little bit easier, what I thought I'd do is move it back down the bottom, make it a little bit bigger, and make it stay there. So we'll cover a little bit about how you can do some of those things actually while we're working our way through this little video. So, as I mentioned previously, we've got two halves to the dock. So on the left of my little arrow here, we have all your apps. And to the right, we have the downloads folder. This is for Windows 10, which I've got installed using Parallels, and the good old trash can. Now, you can, of course, obviously change these things around a little bit. So I'm going to take Safari and I'm going to move it over here next to System Preferences. So to move an icon, all you simply do is pick it up with a click of the left mouse button and drag the mouse across to where you want to put it, and you can see that the other icons on the dock separate when it's in the spot where you can put it. If I take it away from there, you can see they close back together again. So that's where I want it. I let the left mouse button go, and there you have it. Nice and simple. Now to open an app, obviously it's pretty simple. It doesn't get any easier than just clicking on it, and there it is. To minimize it, you can press the little negative symbol there and it disappears again. Now you can see when I hover over things that it gives me the name of what it is, just in case you might have forgotten, like I sometimes do. So another handy little thing we can do here on our icons is to bring up the contextual menu, and to do that we can either right click, or if we've got tapping activated we can tap with two fingers. So that's how we bring up the contextual menu. Now you can see on this particular one, which is System Preferences, I have access to all the various System Preferences panes. On some of these other things, when you open them up for this contextual menu, generally it just brings up those basic options there, as you see. So in the Show Recents, if you go on Show Recents, that brings up any documents. If it's a document type app, this one might show various other things that you've used recently. You can obviously open the app if it isn't open already, and then you have the little options menu. Now the options menu is really handy. So this allows you to remove the app from the dock, which is pretty self-explanatory. It allows you to open it at login, so this would basically send it into your startup applications, so that when you log into your computer, it would automatically open this app for you. And it also allows you to show it in Finder, alright, if you're having trouble finding it. The other little section down the bottom here allows you to assign it to specific desktops. So this is really for if you're using multiple monitors. So our iMac, for example, we've got a couple of monitors on that. You can actually, on there, set it to come up on this desktop only for the main desktop, or on our iMac, obviously, it shows the extra screen as well. You can assign it to just come up on that second screen. So a handy little thing to do if there's specific things you like on specific screens. So that's the contextual menu. And The thing to remember with the contextual menu, as you can already see from just looking at Safari and system preferences, is that it does change depending on what the app is. So this one here, you can actually see it's given me a couple of documents that I've had open previously there on Pixelmator, but the rest of the options functions are basically the same. So how else can we do this? Well, one of the options in the option menu was to remove an app from the dock. You can do the same thing in another way, and I'm going to show you that here simply by, let's remove AirFile. So say I wanted to remove AirFile from the dock. I can obviously right click and select remove from the dock, or another option is to simply grab it with the left mouse button. Oh, hang on, I held it for too long. Grab it for the left mouse button and drag it off the dock. Now when I do that, you can see that I get the word there, remove. If I then let that mouse button go, it disappears. Now it hasn't removed it from the computer, all it's done is removed it from the dock. On the left hand side of the dock here, you can see we have the launch pad. If I go back into the launch pad here, you can see up the top there's that same file, AirFile, app, AirFile. So as I said, it didn't remove it from the dock. All it did was, it didn't remove it from the computer. All it did was remove it from the dock. So if I want to put that back on the dock, this is how you get things onto the dock. I simply open it here, or you can open it in Finder in the Applications folder, and you simply grab it with the left click of the mouse button, drag it down onto the dock there, put it where you want it, and let it go. And there you have it. So that's how you add and remove things from the dock. Next, let's have a look at actually changing things that the dock does. So this is the system preferences. The main window looks like this, and up the top left here, in the first row, third one along, we have the dock settings. So if I click on that, this takes you in, and you have obviously a number of options here. So let's start at the top. Size. So this allows me to adjust the size of the icons, and as you can see, as I pull it to the left they get smaller, as I go to the right they get bigger. Pretty easy. The next one down, magnification. Now you can turn this one on or off, and as you can see, as I go along the dock with it turned off, the icons just stay there. They don't move, they don't change. It just pops the name up. If I click on magnification, this is when we get the little zoom in sort of effect when you go across the icons. Now you can change the size of this obviously by changing the slider. I can go all the way up this end, and now they zoom in really big. Alright, so that's called magnification, and that's a really handy little thing. I find especially on the laptop that I like to have the icons really small, just so that I can, small icons, put this up about halfway. By having the icon small, it reduces the height here and allows me a little bit more vertical space on the screen. So now you can see when I scroll across them, it zooms them in nice and big, move away from it, and they go back to being nice and small so they don't take up too much space. So that's sort of how those two functions work. Position on screen, this is how I set up to put it on the left hand side as I had it in that previous video I did. And once again, you can just click in the box and there it goes. It will jump over to the appropriate places where you want it. Now the minimize windows effect here at the moment is set to Genie. The only other option is scale. Personally I prefer Genie. I've never really played around with the other one. I think it looks quite cool having that sort of a genie in the bottle effect. So I don't ever change it. Next one down, prefer tabs when opening documents, and there are some options here. So you can choose to either open documents into tabs all the time, manually, or only in full screen. Alright, so what this means is if you have a document or something down here that it was open and you that you want to open, and you open it up, it will open it as a new tab. So in Safari, for example, just with the app in full screen mode. So the next one down here is double click a Windows title bar. So I'm just going to open Safari for a second. If I double click on this, you can see it changes it to the height of the screen. Double click again and it goes back to normal. So in system preferences here you can change this. So at the moment it's set to zoom, which is that effect it was giving me. You can change it to minimize. So now if I double click on this, it minimizes it. Alright, so I don't have a major preference in this one. I probably leave it set to zoom because that is something I like to do occasionally, make a window a bit bigger with just by double tapping on the title bar. Next one down, minimize windows into application icon. Pretty self-explanatory. If it's ticked, then as you can see, it disappears into the system preferences icon. If I untick this one and minimize, it minimizes into that right hand side of the dock. Alright, so that's the difference there. You'll notice though when you do that, it lengthens the dock. Now if you've got a number of things open and you minimize them all, obviously the dock is going to expand quite considerably. So once again, to save a bit of space on the laptop here, I tend to keep this one ticked so that they just minimize into the actual app icon. Animate window applications, this just turns your animations on and off. Automatically hide and show the dock. If I click that one, you can see the dock disappears, and when I go down to the bottom of the screen, bang, there it is again. I'll turn that off again for the moment. That is something I usually have on once again to allow me a bit more space on the screen, but I'll keep it turned off for the sake of this video. And the last one there is show indicators for open applications. Now this turns on and off your little dots here below the applications that you have open. Alright, so if I turn that off, you can see those little dots disappear, and if I turn it on, they come back. So there you go, those are the things you can control on the dock. And that's pretty much about it. I'm going to put my dock back to where I usually have it. So up on the left, I'm going to leave it about that size. I'm going to make it magnify just a little bit more, and I'm going to auto hide it, close my system preferences, and there you have it. That, everybody, is the dock. So I hope you got something out of that. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, do the other thing. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, and let me know what sort of things you'd like to see. So once again, thanks for your time. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again in another video.